It's Mr. Dave, and I have again with me today my wonderful daughter,
Haley.
Haley. There you go.
It took me a minute.
Yeah, this is Haley, or Science Haley.
Bing.
Bing. Yeah. So if you took classes with us, camps, all those kind of things where we worked together for years and years and years, probably like 100 years.
Just about.
Yeah, around 100 years, teaching kids science and things like that. It was always, this is Science Haley.
Bing.
Yeah, it was a sound effect thing, one of those. Yeah, so we have Mr. Dave and Science Haley.
Bing.
There you go.
There you go.
This is my awesome daughter. She has done science with me for a long time, and I always love it when she has an afternoon off work and she's like, "Hey, come on in and do some science with me."
Do some science.
Yeah, so I'm very lucky to have her here today. She definitely signed up because we are going to be doing.
One of my favorites. I'll just say that for now.
Yeah, definitely one of her favorites because she does get to torture Dad a little bit. Yeah, she gets to pick on me just a little bit. So I made sure I was very nice to her today. I did buy you an ice cream. If you recall, I did buy her an ice cream as bribery for what we're going to do.
That's what it was for.
That's what it was for. I put Oreos on it.
Yep.
There you go. All right, so we are with the RayKitty Creation Workshop. This is the RayKitty Science Project, and we love bringing science to you guys. So today we're going to be talking about hands. Yeah,
We got them.
We got them. We both brought hands today. Most people have 2 hands. Some people have 1 hand. Some people have no hands. Very few people have 3 hands. Yeah, but we will be talking about hands today, so it's a little bit about biology, a little bit of engineering in there, and a little bit of how our mind works and how our body works. Okay, so we will be talking about how the body works. Now, Haley brought this weird little contraption. This is part of a cosplay that she's currently building. And so this is a work in progress, but this is part of it, and it's this little hand here. But it kind of helps show just a little bit about how those tendons and things work in your hand. So what happens here is if you turn it over like this so we can see there, is we've got bands inside of here. Okay, and so there are little bands inside of these fingers that when she bends her fingers, it will cause those bands to contract or to pull. And then that's what ends up pulling the end of those fingers so she can have that nice little spooky hand thing. Yeah, so that will be part of her cosplay for probably ever and ever. She has a nice collection of cosplay-ery that she does. Yeah, that was a word I just made up. You can have that one.
Okay, thank you.
But what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about some of the materials we are going to use today. Now, you can go ahead and bring that over. And while I'm talking about these materials, Haley, you can just kind of get yours organized there. The things we're going to need today are straws. We use these little skewers here. The skewers are not necessarily part of the project. They're just going to make it a little bit easier to run the rubber band through the straw, okay? Because you will be running the rubber band through the straw.
And we have rubber bands.
Rubber bands. There you go. We have some pens or markers. And this is a little bit thicker paper. This is cardstock. Haley does book binding, and this is part of her. You do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, she does cosplay, book binding, all kinds of 3D art. Yeah, anyway, she's just, I want to brag on my wonderful daughter there. But this is just from that book binding. It's a little bit thicker than your normal paper, but you don't want anything too thick like your, cardboard boxes or anything like that, because you are going to want to be able to flex it a little bit. But if you could, go ahead and trace your hand on there for me. And she's going to trace her hand onto this. And what you're going to be making out of this part of the project are some hands that kind of will demonstrate how a hand works. Okay. Now, this is a fun one that you can do with little guys all the way up to, I've had high schoolers doing this as far as an anatomy. Haley has dissected chicken feet, and she says it works the same as a chicken foot because chicken feet work the same way as
hands.
Yeah. So go ahead and cut out your hand there. Leave a little bit for your wrist. So don't cut out your hand. Now, safety-wise, she's using scissors. She's used scissors.
A lot.
Okay, I did mention the 3D art earlier. That involves snipping like
A lot.
Thousands. Anyway, yeah. But Haley's good with scissors. But if you do have younger students, make sure that you're just monitoring with those scissors. The only hand you want to cut out is the one on the paper. Okay, yeah, you don't want that to come into your hand. So she's cutting out a hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to model the way that the hand works. Okay, then we're going to come into our nice little electrical device here. And Haley's going to show us how a hand works. In your hand, okay, the majority of the muscles that do the motion or movement in your hand are actually up here in your arm. Okay, the ones that are actually pulling these fingers, there are tendons, right, and ligaments in here, but they'll run through, and the ones that are actually activating that hand are actually in your arm here for the most part. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to make a model of the hand. And this is a fun way of showing students that how a hand will work. And it is a fun way of just making a little motor or mechanical hand there that they can use. So she cut out her hand, okay, out of paper.
Out of paper.
Right, you did not, let me see.
My actual hands
Okay.
still have both of them.
Okay, good, yeah, so she's still got her hands. So what you're gonna do is you are going to fold these little fingers over just like your fingers, okay? And then you can say, bye-bye. Yeah, there you go.
Bye.
We're not gonna worry about the thumb. If you're doing this at home and you've got lots of time, you can get a little bit more
Intricate.
Yeah, intricate and do that thumb, but it's a little trickier. I say if you are doing it with the younger guys, let's just do the fingers, okay? And you can even just do the same project with just one finger to begin with, okay? So I folded it here, and I'm gonna fold one more here, okay? So now, if you look at your fingers, don't look at my fingers are all beat up, scarred up, burnt up. Yeah, my fingers are in a bad way. But if you look at Haley's beautiful model hands there you go. You'll see that our fingers will fold once, right? They fold at the base. They fold here at this knuckle, and then we have that extra knuckle that bends just a little bitty bit. Now, we're not gonna worry about that one. Again, if you are getting more intricate, you can get really crazy with this one. But for the sake of time, we're just gonna kind of show you the idea, okay? So what is it that you would do next on making your little hand here?
Next, we want to cut some straws down. So just kind of figure out how long each of those little bends are and cut the straw to match that pattern.
Okay, so do you want to we'll put a little line on there just so they can see it for the TV. I'm going to put a line on these hands here just so you can kind of see where those lines would be. And the lines are our folds. Okay, so you want to cut those straws a little shorter than the fold because those straws need to fit in that and be able to bend. So go ahead and cut some straws for me.
Yep.
These do have that fun little flexi thing. That has nothing to do with what we're doing. I just like flexi straws.
They're fun. Oh,
Woo.
I'm watching them.
There you go. So what you're going to want is you're going to want a straw for each section here, okay? And then a little straw for the tip, and then a straw to go down the center, okay? A straw to go right down the center of the hand. So probably for like time-wise, we may just do, you could probably have time to do all of the fingers, huh?
Okay.
I can just kind of explain how it's going to work while you're doing it. And so what I'm going to do while she's doing that is if you could cut a couple of these rubber bands for me, is I'm going to take these rubber bands and we're going to turn these rubber bands into tendons, okay? Now we don't have 10 of them, so they're actually going to be 4 dins.
Ew.
Sorry. Yeah, no, they're still tendons.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these through our little straws, okay? Now, I brought those sticks here. If you're having a difficult time running it through the straw, you can use that you can use a pipe cleaner, you can use some of these skewers, a toothpick, whatever can get that through that straw. But what you want to do is you want to run a long section of straw and a short section of straw, okay? So I have 2 sections of straw on my rubber band here, okay? Now, a tip I've found after doing this for a long, long time with all kinds of kids is that if you take your hand, your paper hand,
The paper hand.
yeah, and turn it over and tape your rubber bands to the back of the hand first, okay? So you're taping it on what would essentially be the fingernail, okay? That's just going to be for strength. I'll continue running these through while you're taping those on. So you're going to tape the rubber band to the back of the fingernail. Now, like I say, that's really just a tip that I found after doing this for a lot of times with students. A lot of times that rubber band will pull off of the finger, and you don't want it to pull off of that finger. So this, you'll want to take it and tape it on the back of that hand, okay? And then you have a little section and a big section, okay? You're going to tape, or go ahead and show them how you're taping those there. You want to
Little section.
There you go.
There you go. You got the little section, and then you'll put the big one here.
Yeah, so you're going to tape it on each section of finger that you're going to want to move, okay? Because as you can see, when you move your fingers, now there are differences in humans. Some humans can bend their fingers like individual segments and things like that. Me, I can usually move my fingers by about 10 o'clock in the morning. I've done plenty of damage to my hands. But when you're bending your fingers, you'll notice when you bend a finger, that finger usually kind of all bends together. Now, like I say, some people can bend a specific section of your finger at a time. That's a fun thing to try with your students, is to show them, hey guys, can you just bend your finger like this? Or can you bend your finger like this? But normally when you pull that tendon, then, oh look, I did like a little magic trick there. When
Nice.
you pull, when you pull on that, it will bend that whole finger. So that's what's going to happen here. So we're taping it essentially here and here. And remember, we're just doing 2 segments instead of those 3 segments that are on your finger for now, just to kind of show you. But what we're going to see is that when you pull it here, it will actually mimic the way that a hand works, okay? Or the way that a chicken foot works,
Yep.
okay? Or an eagle talon, if you want to be more like majestic about it.
I just
But
haven't dissected
eagle talons?
No.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like legal.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Yeah, okay. So let's stick to dissecting chicken feet. So she's got 2 sections there, okay? And let's see. Let's make sure those rubber bands will be long enough. I may have to...
Tie a knot.
Yeah, tie a knot in those rubber bands. So I'm going to tie a little knot in these rubber bands while you're getting that one ready.
Yep.
And that's easier said than done.
Might be a little tricky with 2 of us here. Only so much amount of hand.
Right. I'll wait. I'll tie that one when you're done there. So what we've got is these tendons, as you can see. Can I show real quick?
Yep.
Yeah, or if you want to show real quick. The tendons are hanging off of the fingers into the center of the hand, okay? So that's definitely what you want. You want all those sections to go into that center of the hand. And then we're going to put a little tube here. Now, the tube that we put here, normally in your hand, would actually be right down about in this section here, okay? That carpal tunnel you've probably heard of, that your grandma had surgery on, or, whatever. But that carpal tunnel is that tunnel where those ligaments and tendons will move to let our hand move. All of our fingers and all those kind of things will go through that tunnel there. So we'll see if our bands are long enough. For sake of time, we may just put it to where we can just get these ones here, and then we can do the finger thing, and that way we can get to the
Button.
other part of the demonstration. Yeah. So what we'll do is we will, let's go ahead and put one on there just so you can run these through that tube there.
Yep.
And we're just going to hook up these 2 fingers for now. Okay. So we're going to have these 2 so we can do kind of like a trigger finger kind of thing. And then we can get on to showing you how that works in real life. Yes, see how happy she is? See,
Yep.
That's because she knows what she's going to be doing to me in a moment here, with the next part of our demonstration. So, just run them through this one here. Don't even worry about tying it. Just run them there so we can kind of, and we'll tape it up a little bit higher. So when you're doing this, what you'll do when you're doing it at home is make sure those rubber bands will come down to this point here, that you've got a little bit of extra. And when you're pulling on them, we'll see what happens here. Just tape that one down. Let's just do 1 finger for now, and that way we can get to these ones here.
Alrighty.
But you can show them kind of what's up with all of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how that 1 finger moves. That's going to be this finger here. Okay, there you go. And when you pull on that tendon there, okay, then you can see how that will bend. And then that is that tendon up here that is actually working this finger here, okay? So your tendon is actually operating that finger, even though it's not in the hand, it's way up here, okay? So this little guy here, just show him your device, your beautiful device there. Ding, Yeah, bing, science, Haley. Bing, bing. Yeah, so this device here is a fun way with your students. You can get way more intricate than this. Like I say, if you want, if you've got younger students, you can use bigger straws. You can make just one finger at a time, and that's kind of fun. But this is a fun way of demonstrating what we're going to see here. Okay, so this is called a mechanical hand. So she has put together a mechanical hand that mimics this one that she brought here. And now for the other part of the show.
Let's do it.
I'm going to go ahead and take off.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, so I guess I have to stick around for this part. Okay. What we have here is actually has nothing to do with Marcellus Wallace. I just like to open the case like this, and then we look in it. Yeah. No, what we have here is what is called a human-to-human interface. Okay. Now this is a little bit like later version. This has been tricked out just a little bit. You may have seen a long time on TV me doing one with a thing that's kind of like this, but this one here we've modified just a little bit to give it a little more oomph, okay? Now, what happens inside this little device here, I don't like the way she's smiling, and you'll find out why in a minute here. What we have is this little part here. This is called a muscle spiker shield, okay? Now, this little shield here is part of an Arduino. If you do any kind of robotics or anything like that, you'll recognize that. But our shield is on top of our Arduino. A muscle spiker shield is going to work in this case like an EMG, okay? Now, you've probably heard of at the doctors, they have EKGs, EEGs. This one will work to check the muscle, the electricity that's going through the muscle, okay? Haley is powered by electricity.
Yep.
I am powered by electricity.
Because we're robots.
Because we're robots.
No.
Oh, there's more. Okay, yeah. No, no. But our mind will send an electrical signal. That signal will cause our muscles to contract, okay? And that signal is what we're going to be measuring on Haley. So we're going to start out. I'm going to hook her up with some wires here. She is going to be on the sending side, or we will be reading her electrical signals, okay? So what we have here. Oh, do you want me to put them on? I'll explain why I'm putting them on where I'm putting them on. So she's going to put her hand out just like this. Now, I'm going to put one of these little diodes or electrodes on the back of her hand, okay? That one is to make sure she is in fact not a zombie. If you saw a previous episode where we tested to see if she was a zombie, this is seeing if anything has changed since then. She's going to turn her hand over. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these electrodes here, okay, and here, okay. So, those all stuck okay?
Yep.
Okay, now the red leads she's going to put onto the electrodes on her arm, okay? The black lead she's going to put onto the back of her hand. Now, the reason that you're putting that black one on is not a matter of positive and negative. The black one is going to kind of help us eliminate those electrical signals that are happening all the time. Okay, so I'm going to turn this part on. Bing, okay? And we're going to calibrate this to Haley. Now, if you look here, there's a little light tree. They call it a tree. It's just a row of lights at the bottom there. And we're going to want to calibrate that to Haley's electrical signals. Okay?
There we go.
There you go. So if you look at the bottom here, there you go. When she squeezes, we get into that red. Boy, that's working well. Isn't that terrible? Okay. All right. So when she squeezes, her brain is sending an electrical signal to this. Okay. Now, if we're very quiet, I'm going to put it, see if we can hear it. There's a little
Sound, click.
Right. That click is actually, go ahead, let's calibrate it just a little tighter if we can. Go ahead and squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. There we go.
Yeah.
And release.
That'll be good.
Okay. That clicking sound is actually a relay. The relay is hooked to this TENS unit. Okay? This TENS unit sends out an electrical shock. Okay? Now, that doesn't matter until we hook it up to me. I'm going to actually hook it up to what is called that ulnar nerve there, if you've ever hit your funny bone,
It's your funny bone.
boom, you're like, oh, yay, that was awesome, right? Because you just love hitting your funny bone. No. That funny bone, when you hit it, will send that burning sensation up into your hand, right? So we're going to hook it up to that nerve. Yay! Yay, hooray! All right, so I'm going to put these on me right along that ulnar nerve there, okay? And what's going to happen is when she activates that relay, that electricity is now going to be transferred over to me and my arm and do kind of the same as when you hit your funny bone. So what's going to happen is she is actually going to control my arm with her mind.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't have it on yet.
And I moved it way over here so she can't hit the controls. Yay! All right, so I'm going to turn on the relay. Turn on the tens. Go ahead and squeeze for me and relax. Squeeze and relax. Squeeze and relax. No, it's not turning on now. Hang on. Squeeze and relax. I just checked these batteries. Here, I've got a new battery right here. Hang on just a second. That was really just stolen for time. All right, so I'm going to change this battery out real quick. I checked them. Always bring spare batteries. Yeah, always bring spare batteries. So I'm going to change this battery out real fast here. It's an easy switch. Yeah, we checked everything right beforehand, but that's how things work sometimes. We're going to put this one on here. I better turn it off while I do that, or else she's going to make me throw this thing across the room. All right, so get a new battery in here. Okay. So, yep.
Is it working now?
Not yet. Hang on. I'll try another battery. Oh, I might have had the little felt thing in the way. There we go. Okay. Now I'm really just stalling for time. Oh, now that one worked. Okay, so go ahead and squeeze and relax. Squeeze and relax. Squeeze and relax. Squeeze and relax. Let me try one more battery here. Hopefully this
Come on,
is
Mr.
the
Dave.
issue here. Now let's see. It's a lot less dramatic when I'm not getting electrocuted. All right, one more. Here we go. And this will be the right one, right?
Yep.
It's always the last one you try, because if you keep trying, then...
You missed it.
Yeah, what were you thinking? All right, there you go. Squeeze and relax. Okay. And, oh, wait, our trigger is on. I'm going to calibrate this just a little bit to you. There you go. And relax. Squeeze.
Oh, there we
And
go.
relax. Squeeze. And relax. Squeeze. And relax. Squeeze. Oh, okay, now, what's happening here is that... is that when she kind of contracts her hand, my hand here is attached to this relay. Okay, now, this relay, a TENS unit, now you can see, now it's not, I'm not exactly following what happens in her hand, okay? It's not, woo, okay, now it's not exact, no, don't turn it up. Oh, you turned it down, nice, okay, there you go. Now, it's not exactly going to follow her hand, okay? What's happening there is where it is attached to me is going to send that signal there, and my hand is doing, is going to go off the readings here. Now, you may notice I'm stuttering this because she's really attacking me with that thing there. What's happening to my hand here, my hand's not moving like in a natural way, even, really. It kind of just does a weird little thing. Now,
Like that.
as a note, if you are doing this to a group of sixth graders, I am not in control of I am not in control of what happens to my hand, okay? So sometimes you end up making a gesture in front of a room full of sixth graders that you should probably not be making, and they all go, Mr. Dave, just, yeah. So it's not up to me what I do with my hand, okay? It's actually completely, she's going to turn it up. I knew she was going to turn it up. There you go now. So what's happening here is I'm going to attempt to kind of fight that for a second, okay? So
keep your hand like this.
Yeah, now, let me breathe for a minute. Okay, now, so what's happening here is, let me just
I'll let you talk.
Oh, there you go. I'm going to breathe for a second here. Now, what's happening is these little electrodes here, where they're connected to me, that nerve is activating the muscles in my hand. So if I were to move these elsewhere, right, it would activate different muscles. So it happens different ways every time you hook it up.
It's like pulling this string here on the finger. It does the same kind of thing on his.
Exactly. And she's doing it with her mind. So her mind is controlling my arm, because if we go through the whole thing here, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, she turned it off just now so I can breathe a little bit. Now, when she closes her hand, okay, I'm not going to get it now because this part's off, but when she closes her hand,
it sends an electric signal right here.
Yep, there's a signal that tells those muscles to contract, okay? So that this device is reading that electrical signal. When we turn it on, you can see, go ahead and close your hand again. There you go, yeah. Now, when this gets into that red there, okay, that's when I am getting when that relay is being triggered, and it is causing my hand to move, okay? So now it's not it's not a normal movement, but that movement is just based on, is just based on where this is activating those muscles, okay? So, okay, so these fingers here primarily are going to be the ones that are moving, because I have it activating mainly these ones. I can, if you move it around, you can activate other fingers. It really just depends. You can put this on, and you can hit it whenever. That's the fun part. But if you can put this on other muscle groups, and those those other muscle groups will react, but it's hard to kind of get them to really react. We have put it on my bicep so that she could make me do the why are you punching yourself? Why are you punching yourself? But the part of that is that it is kind of difficult to really make sure that lands in the right spot. Okay? Yep. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to attempt to keep my hand open. And Haley's going to fight me. I'm going to crank it all the way up. This one's up to 11. Okay, give me a minute to breathe. And I'm going to try to keep my hand open. I'm using my mind to keep my hand open. She's using her mind to torment me. Okay. She's using her mind to control my hand. So I'm going to try and keep my hand open, and we're going to see what happens on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now, as you can see,
it's not very hard to close his hand.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how hard as long as she's activating that muscle, okay, as long as she's activating that muscle, it will, and you can see this weird thing happening with the muscle in my arm right there, it will cause mine to contract. Is when she relaxes, I can have control over my hand again. Whew, okay, I'm turning this off. There you go. Whew, so thank you, Haley, for tormenting me. And we are, this is showing you a lot of fun things about the hand. You can make those models of the hand. And this device here is a little bit more just for the science part. All right, thank you, Haley, for coming with me today. We are Mr. Dave and Haley with the RayKitty Science Project. And don't forget, science shows
you matter.